I'm with the 2025 Mercedes-Benz CLE 450 Cabriolet. And yes, I know convertibles aren't always practical. And being from the Toronto area, they're only good for a few months out of the year. But it is so well put together, and I think it's one of the best modern Mercedes offerings that isn't an AMG. So let's get into the 450. Let's quickly beat the plane, do our perks, quirks, and irks, go over some baseline numbers, and let's talk a little more about just how good the 2025 Mercedes CLE 450 is. Before we start with our baseline numbers, let's get the roof open on this 2025 Mercedes CLE 450 Cabriolet. And it's one touch, and it can be done at up to speeds of 60 kilometers per hour. It's early September, and oh, there's that breeze. And it's 13.5 degrees Celsius on this brisk September morning. You have a wind deflector that's powered, and not really surprising in the luxury world. Let me get out of that shadow. There I am again. And again, one touch of this trio of buttons, and you can see it in the middle of the screen. And up it goes. So let's do that to keep things as quiet-ish as possible. So, starting with baseline numbers, 3-liter turbocharged inline 6-cylinder engine, 375 horse, 369 pound-feet of torque, 9-speed automatic, and it's their all-wheel drive system. And there's a 48-volt mild hybrid, and usually I cannot stand them. They're not engineered very well, they're not integrated very well, but here in the 450 cab, it is seamless, it is quiet. This auto start stop is also barely noticeable, and it's one of the best integrations of this auto start stop. 2 sets of numbers will be cargo space, which is 420 liters, which isn't too bad for a cabriolet slash convertible. Steph and I went away for a few days, managed to put 2 carry-on bags into both of our backpacks, a couple of tripods, and a couple of bags worth of, not really bags, but just grocery bags-ish, worth of stuff we picked up on our travels. Everything fit in there, no issues at all. And on the fuel consumption side, we're at 8.9 liters per 100 kilometers combined. Pair that with a 66-liter fuel tank, and you can go a little under 750 kilometers per full tank of fuel. Let's go right on to the perks, and the quiet ride quality, the smooth ride, is something I'm not really used to with Mercedes. I find it to be a little on the abrasive side, but the way they've tuned this CLE 450 cab is so it's so smooth, and it's serene, and it's not loud at all. It's not, like a monstrous sounding engine. It's, again, very quiet, very unassuming. There's a lot of pick up and go here, a lot of pep beneath your right foot. The CLE 450 runs up and down its 9 gears so smoothly. And I know Mercedes is a luxury brand, and their AMG stuff is super powerful and aggressive, and the non-AMG stuff is meant to be smooth and not quite calm, but very serene. But there's just that added emphasis here, the way they've tuned the CLE 450 to be something that I would take all the way across Canada and have no issues with the harshness of the ride. Even with the top up, convertibles tend to have a little bit of extra noise to it. Well, it's not a fixed roof, it's a cloth roof at the end of the day, but minimal, absolutely minimal noise coming through. Now I'm starting from a dead stop, and even with my foot down, just a little bit, but it's still so well insulated, and the damping is so good here. So again, the ride quality is the top perk for me here. I know design is subjective, but I like the simplicity here on the exterior. It doesn't need to be flashy and full of creases, and it doesn't need to attract attention. I think this is the sign of a great design in the luxury world. Just very minimal, very sleek, very, again, unassuming, but just enough character to help it stand out from the mainstream brands. Another perk is that the roof can operate at up to 60 kilometers per hour, which is good because in case you're stuck in a rainstorm or some kind of weird weather, you don't have to pull over all the way to stop the vehicle, hopefully under a bridge. But if there's no bridge around, you got to stop and get your weather on you. But 60 kilometers is pretty good. I know BMW does it up to 50 kilometers. So this, maybe that extra 10 kilometers makes a bit of a difference to somebody out there. The audio system is exceptional. Now, yes, the asterisk is it's an $1,100 upgrade to get the 17 speaker, 710 watt Burmester audio. But if you are looking at this, if you are considering this, I would absolutely get it. If it is the only option that I would get on the CLE 450 if I was buying one, it would be the audio system. It is clean and crisp and thumpy on the bass side, but the mids can be nicely scooped out, and it's one of the better audio systems out there. And lastly, the fuel consumption is pretty good, at 8.9 liters per 100 kilometers combined for a turbocharged 6. Yeah, it's, I would have expected that number to be in the maybe high 9s, low 10s, but yeah, coming in at 8.9 is pretty impressive. On to the Quirks side of things, there are 2 different sized cup holders in this tiny little piece of real estate beneath my right elbow. Not the actual storage bin, but the little part where the wireless charging and the USB ports are. I don't know. I think they could have gone for maybe 2 regular sized cup holders, and it's those spring-loaded ones where you push down and the cup holder walls spring out. And I think they could have maybe extended it by a couple of inches as far as the whole piece goes. But yeah, a little quirky there. I know this is not new technology, but I will always appreciate it when you sit down in the vehicle and you close the door, the seat belt pusher comes out to make it a little less awkward to reach over your left or right shoulder, depending on where you are in the car, to reach your seat belt and put it out of its resting place and into the lock position. Also, in the not new but still appreciated side of things is the tilting screen, because Mercedes says, well, maybe there might be some glare that'll affect your vision, especially with the top down. So there's a little button at the bottom bar on the right side. You push it and the screen tilts forward, I'm gonna guess maybe 6-7 degrees. I have found no issues with the glare on the screen. The graphics are so clean and crisp and high resolution, and even the smaller print comes through extremely clearly. If you leave your phone in the wireless charging bay, which is pretty deep in there and it's not exactly in your line of sight, and you stop the car and you go to get out, there is a nice gentle reminder from Mercedes that's audible that says, don't forget your phone, as opposed to something that's just on the screen that flashes that you might miss. On the Irks side of things, and there's only a couple for this specific class and type and style of vehicle, the haptic controls on the steering wheel aren't great. It's a lot of precision work, and if you're doing fast hand maneuvering, you might tap or hit something in error as you're doing your maneuvering, and something might pop up. Your volume might go on or off or higher or lower. Your screen might change because you're changing the backgrounds of it. The feel of physical buttons, I think, would just add so much here on the steering wheel. And sure, it's nice to look at. It's beautifully designed. It's got that flat bottom style to it, but I know the haptic stuff just takes away a little bit of it. And the other Irk is the size of this small little bin here with the cup holders and wireless charging and USB ports. It's pretty small, and the way the wireless charging works is your phone's got to go all the way in, so you got to be really careful with how you slide it in there and get it out. You might nick your fingers or your fingertips, and it's not really user-friendly. I'm sure it's great to have your phone out of sight while you're driving, but getting it in and getting it out is a little bit of a hassle. Wrapping up with pricing and competition, the MSRP in Canadian figures here is $85,100, and you can dress it up all sorts of ways with packages and options and standalone options and color options. So I like what Mercedes has done here with the nice deep blue exterior and the lighter interior. There's the wood paneling with the pinstripes, which isn't really my thing, but I could see how some people would appreciate that look and style. It is very premium, upscale, and luxury. On the competition side, it's really just the M440i as far as cabriolets go, and that rings in at $86,900, so just a tick over what we have here. And you can go with the regular 4 Series cab. You get a lot less power there, and that's $71,900. I think this is one of the better vehicles Mercedes makes. I'm happy they opted to bring the C-Class Coupe and the E-Class Coupe together as one. Not just from a financial standpoint, but just there's a lot of offerings Mercedes has to begin with, and bringing these two together really does give you the best of both worlds. Now, this isn't as big as the E-Class, obviously, and it's not as small as the C-Class. It's got like a stretched C, slightly shrunken E, and I like it. I like the 300 when I had it this time last year, and this is one of my favorite modern Mercedes-Benz offerings, this CLE 450 cab. It just does everything so well. It's effortless to drive. It looks good. It feels good. There's so much power, but it's not boasting about it. It's there when you need it, and it's a solid and comfortable cruising vehicle when you just want to tow it around town or go on a longer road trip. That's going to wrap it up. Let me know if you have any questions on what you've seen. I'm happy to get you answers as soon as possible. I invite you to join the Modern Motoring social platforms. We're on all of the major ones. And without you, there is no Modern Motoring. So I thank you, I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.